If you're here, there's a good chance that something inside of you knows that something's not right. And maybe you love God, you've prayed, you've gone to church, you've asked others to pray for you, you've read books, you've even been to counseling, maybe with pastor or a professional counselor. You've stayed busy, you tried not to think about it, and you've hoped that things would just get better with time. But somehow you keep finding yourself back in the same painful cycles again. The same emotional exhaustion, the same struggles, relationship struggles, the same reactions, the same confusions, the same internal battles. And maybe one of the hard parts of this is you don't really understand why it keeps happening. You may even be at the place where you're beginning to wonder, is it possible something deeper is going on with me right on the inside? What's going on? Because I know I'm not crazy, not because I don't love God, because I do, and not because I'm beyond help, but because many believers have never been taught about how to identify and address the deeper roots underneath the struggles that they may be experiencing. Many people are trying to solve root level problems with surface level solutions. Doesn't work. So they try harder, they pray harder, they stay busier, they suppress their emotions, they push through the pain and just try to keep moving on. But hidden wounds that are based in shame or fear or rejection, unhealthy beliefs, emotional suppression, and spiritual heaviness continue to shape how you think and react and relate and live. And over time, that just becomes so exhausting and you almost become hopeless. I know this personally because for years I silently carried many of those struggles myself. I loved God. I read the Bible at church. I served others. I worked at my church. I volunteered all the time. I was there 3 times a week. But underneath the surface, there were wounds and shame and unhealthy beliefs and emotional pain and eternal battles that I just didn't really understand. I knew known that I'd not come from a really great background. I didn't really commit a lot of sin, but my family upbringing really had some struggles and I had some very painful events that happened in my life. But I'm a Christian now. Shouldn't those be gone away? So one of the deepest lies that I carried was the belief that I was a bother to humanity. Now, not that I occasionally bothered people, because we all do that, but somehow my existence itself created problems that I was just a bother to humanity. And that quiet belief shaped how I related to people, how I responded emotionally, and even how I approached God. And like many believers, I learned how to function while hurting. I became responsible, helpful, strong, busy, a bit controlling, but internally I was exhausted. And what began changing was when my life really became a mess and I started looking around for help and I wanted to go beyond surface level answers and I became willing to honestly confront the deeper roots behind the struggles that kept repeating themselves in my life. That journey eventually became the foundation for So Free Ministry. So Free Ministry is designed to help believers uncover and address the deeper spiritual and emotional and relational roots that may be keeping them stuck. It's not about hype. It's not about emotional manipulation, and it's not about condemnation. It's not about pretending that your problems are someone else's fault, or maybe that they may not even be your fault. This is about finally understanding, why do you keep reacting the way that you do? Why are you stuck in these certain cycles? Different name, different date, same cycle. Why relationships keep becoming painful, or why peace feels difficult to sustain without sacrificing yourself. And these issues need to be dealt with, and we want to ultimately get to those deeper issues so that you can finally move ahead with your life. Because many people are not simply dealing with bad habits, they're dealing with rejection, shame, fear. They're dealing with emotional wounding, unhealthy beliefs, survival patterns, emotional suppression, spiritual heaviness, and years of hidden pain beneath the surface. One of the most common things my clients say during ministry is, "Wow, now everything makes sense." Or, "That's why I react this way." Or I've heard them say, "I didn't realize that this shaped me as much as it did." And that clarity becomes the beginning of their real transformation. Clients often begin experiencing greater peace, emotional stability, healthier boundaries, better communication, clearer thinking, and a stronger identity. And they begin to hope again. And freedom, they begin to experience freedom from those exhausting emotional internal cycles that they'd been dealing with for years. They're gone. And most importantly, they begin to learn how to stop surviving and start living whole and free. The ministry process itself is intentional, structured, and focused on lasting transformation. It begins with a discovery call process and an application, followed by a series of private ministry sessions concluded in 30 days or less. The best scenario is 5 sessions in 1 week, but not everybody can take off a week. So if we need to get those sessions in within 30 days, because one session builds on the next session. Then we conclude with having a walking it out accountability phase designed to help clients move and continue and maintain at the continuing process of growth and applying the transformation that they received during ministry and learning how to live that transformation out practically in everyday life. This ministry is especially for believers who are tired of pretending. They're tired of repeating cycles. They're tired of carrying hidden pain silently. And they're finally ready to be honest so healing can begin. And that honesty is also one of the big turning points. So you don't have to have everything figured out before reaching out. You simply have to be willing and to honestly ask what's really going on under the surface and be open to spirit-led ministry. If this resonates with you, the next step is simple. Right below this video, you'll find our FAQ, our frequently asked questions, where I answer some of the many and the most asked questions about So Free Ministry, the process, what to expect, and who this ministry is really designed for. I'll tell you a little secret. I walked for years in all kinds of pain, picking up pieces here and there and picking them up, putting them together. And one day the Lord asked me when I said, "This is so hard to find all the pieces." And it's sad that people can't get help in one place. And the Lord asked me, "Well, will you do it?" And I said, "Yes, I will." And so this ministry was born out of all of those pieces, all of the painful pieces that God put together and recreated me really into the woman that he created me to be originally. And so free is powerful. How do I know? Because I went through this process myself and I've seen it over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. So today I just want to invite you to check out the FAQ section under this video, and you'll also have an opportunity to schedule a discovery call where we can talk further and I can answer any additional questions that you might pertain to you personally. And we can determine whether So Free Ministry is the right fit for your situation. I understand because I hear people say, "Will it work for this situation?" What I can say, I've never come up against a situation where it doesn't work because we're allowing Holy Spirit, we're using biblical principles to overcome deep-rooted issues. And God is powerful enough to address any situation. So please take your time, look up the FAQ section below, book a discovery call if you'd like to go further, and we can talk about how the ministry may work in your situation. You may want to invite me to do the ministry for you. And also we'll talk about cost and scheduling. So you can stop surviving and start living whole and free because, my dear friend, freedom is really very possible. God bless you and have a blessed day. Talk to you soon.